Hi, it's your girl Venus Archangel here. I got a new spread for you guys, kind of just wrapping up the whole year of 2017. Okay, so I have a new spread called the End of the Year spread, and we have 3 cards to kind of demonstrate how, what you guys went through the whole year, what lessons you guys learned, and how can this be integrated in the month of December, the last year of 2017, and how much of what you take back from this year and December will be kind of filled into how much of that will be going into the new year. Let's go ahead and get started. Hi, thank you so much for tuning in. I just want to let you guys know a couple announcements. I got a 40% off all reading sale except for the 3 cards. That's already $10. So you guys can go ahead and get and wrap up at the end of the year with a reading, kind of get some insight about how much you've improved and what lessons could be coming in for you. Just give me a holler. I got my website down in the description box below, so go ahead and click on that if you're interested in getting a reading from me. Also, I am finally on Instant Go, so I'm only a download away. So go ahead and download the Instant Go app. My username is Venus Archangel. It's under this Venus Archangel Tarot. It's in the description box below if you want to go ahead and click the link. You guys can text me. You guys can talk to me on the phone. And hey, shoot me a message and I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Also, guys, this Saturday I've got an awesome opportunity to hang out with Aquarian Insight live stream on Saturday, like I said, at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So I would love for y'all to join us. It would be pretty awesome. All right, y'all, let's get up into this, okay? So the underlying energy of the whole year is the High Priestess. I think they would trust some instincts this year. Am I right, fam? I think also there was working with the part that wasn't very seen. I think there was the behind the scene work. Now, what's underneath that to pretty much clarify the High Priestess is the 4 of Cups. I think there was a lot of just kind of focusing on the 3 of Cups, focusing on things that you kind of already had. It's a very apathetic energy, and I think there was something that was coming in for y'all. There was just recognizing help, I think. Or recognizing something that could potentially, shift your focus away from the 3 Cups. Because the 3 Cups, it generates, like I said, you're looking at it like you don't know what to do with the 3 Cups. It could have been offer of some sort that was contemplated on, trying to figure out exactly like where to go from the support range, from the friend zone. I think there was a lot of focusing on how to get the hell out of this friend zone, and I think that the cup was kind of the missing link a little bit. So I think there was a lot of following your intuition because there were some things that needed to be sorted out in regards to a relationship, how you guys proceed within yourself emotionally, okay? And I think that's kind of came out of it on top with the 6 of Wands. So you guys are feeling very victorious. You guys are feeling very good. Your efforts have proved well. I think you just got to a point where you felt a little stuck in how you're going to, move forward. You definitely felt stuck. And I think it required you to kind of trust your instincts. Because honestly, when you get help from somebody or someone extends a cup to you, you kind of have to go on faith that you're not doing the same thing over and over again. So trusting your intuition and trusting yourself was a big thing for this year. Now let's see how that kind of came into place. You guys have the the Page of Pentacles, Page of Cups. Why do I want to say everything but the Page of Cups? Page of Cups is the first card in the beginning of the year. Okay, I think that has a lot to do with that 4 of Cups that we saw there underneath the High Priestess. This is an offer, communicating something emotionally, but there was a lot of the same stuff. Maybe you guys had kept getting the same kind of messages and emotional communication. It's like, oh my god, you know, it can kind of get a little, it can kind of get a little boring. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. But why does the Page of Cups come up for y'all? In the beginning, I think it was a lot to do with expressing yourself or expressing to other people. I think there was a lot of communication that was needed to be had here. Ooh. Anyway, but like that wasn't coming out like 3 more. No way, it's 5 cards. No. So yeah, communicating your issues. I think there was the new sense of communicating. Obviously, with the Ace of Swords here, new way of thinking. I think you guys had victory through the truth, but the truth was y'all were in pain. I think the way you expressed it, well, you know, I think you expressed yourself through a sense of pain this year, where you were noticing pains that have happened, or there's some communication that came up that had a lot to do with heartache. Whew, that's crazy. I think in the beginning of the year there was a lot of, you know, back and forth and communicating to someone about some pain, something that, you know, I think there was something that you had to be honest with yourself about in regards to some pains being there, some old issues. And I think that old issue is what some sort of understanding or some clarity received that was victory. Well, honestly, this communication and stuff back and forth and being, you know, the old issues and stuff like that. I'm honestly can't even remember which card came out first. Was it the Ace? Yeah, it was the Ace of Swords. So the Ace of Swords comes out because of the Three of Swords. So there's past pains, and it kind of gave you the new perspective that you needed. It gave the new perspective that you needed, but the communication was really focused on the emotional portion. I think. And I think how the beginning of this year worked for you guys was just kind of, it was a lot of blah, and honestly, there's some stuff that just needed to be addressed, and I think communicating that in the beginning of the year was a little bit difficult. So with you having to discuss all that stuff, I think you kind of got into a hump in the middle of the year where you guys are like, I don't know if this is worth me talking about. I don't know if me saying this is a good idea. I don't know if all this is actually, you know. I think you guys had doubts. Definitely doubts. And I think, honestly, you guys wanted something. Possibly the past pains could have been something that you, like, a victory. Obviously, a past pain of a victory of perspective. I think what you guys wanted, or the past pains, is receiving is not maybe receiving a new perspective, or, you know, getting some sort of victory. And I think maybe there was some energy here, like with the Five of Swords, that you're like, I really want this, or you kind of like you did stuff that you kind of felt like you didn't really want to, you didn't really feel good about doing, and it ended up getting what you want, but you're not really happy with it. Or I think that you were probably so focused on the prize that you didn't really. I think you were focused on the prize, and you kind of didn't really. You weren't sure if everything that you were doing was worth the trouble anymore. Let me see. Why is the Five of Swords coming up? There could be some petty arguments with friends and family. I think there was something in regards to, like, whether you felt that this connection was worth this, you know, I guess maybe there was something going on in regards to a third-party relationship for some of you guys. I remember the last, you know, the readings I've done for your Gemini so far, they've been pretty good. But I think you guys could have gotten to a point where you're like, you weren't sure whether the support that you guys had is something that is, I don't want to say reliable, but there was, I think you weren't quite sure about how this victory, or how this Five of Swords kind of plays out for you. Like I said, it's doubt here. There's a lot of doubt. Why did they doubt the Three of Cups? I'm just going to clarify that, see if I get some answers. Jesus Christ. Four Cups, man, sweet. Communicating. Three of Cups, support. So I'm thinking that opening up to communication and being open emotionally was something that you started off with. You're very open, Gemini. You're very open about stuff. More open than most because you're an air sign, and two, you're very intellectual. You're very able to just kind of say things. One of the things that you guys are known for is being chatterboxes. I got a Gemini moon, so I'm guilty of that. But I think in the beginning of this year, you would receive a lot of pain, but you communicate through it. I think you were trying to discover or trying to figure out a way to communicate through it. So when you got to the Five of Swords, I think it got to the point where you just communicated that all the time, but it was, I don't know if you felt like the support was there or you were testing the support. I think you were giving some, you were communicating, you were learning to in the beginning, and then you start to do it, you're having doubts, you're trying to receive back. Like you're not sure if you're opening up is a good idea. And you had a support group, you had friends. Communicating emotionally was important. Why the Page of Cups? But I think there was just, I don't know. I feel like for you guys, this year, I mean, I think there was a little bit of, I think it was an empty victory because what you were kind of communicating was that you didn't have the support that you needed, or the support that you had, I don't know, maybe you needed a certain support. There was some sort of, or something came up within your support and it just kind of, yeah. Knight of Cups, yeah, I think something in the support kind of, they put on this facade that they were, promising, or they were someone that felt genuinely, in love. I think someone offered you something. Obviously, this Page of Cups is an offer of love, and it got you guys together. But I think it caused you to kind of doubt the connection, doubt whether this was something worth the trouble. So that makes sense. So so the middle of this year, it was kind of seeing and recognizing and noticing the union that you have with someone. Because, I mean, that's what the Three of Cups is. It could be friends, it could be family, it could be a relationship. I'm not going to be specific with it because it's not being specific. I think it's in all relationships. How much effort have you put into those relationships and been like, oh, whoa, I don't know if this is legitimately for me. I think that's kind of what it kind of came up to. Like, you're trying to, I think there was a lot of figuring out, like, whether or not this was acceptable to you. Or what boundaries did you have in regards to your relationships. And why did you feel like they weren't up to par to you? I think that you're trying to figure that out. Trusting your intuition about people is something that's definitely coming up in here because the trusting yourself anyway. Or things that just, no, the hidden. I think there was something that wasn't very clearly seen in the beginning. Emotions are just emotions. They don't have to be, I mean, sometimes they're not usually typically articulated. Okay, interesting. Now, having that said, when you're trying to figure out whether the relationship is worth pursuing, or whether the unions that you have, the support network that you have, is something that can truly give you what you want, I think, trusting the connection and just trusting yourself. And honestly, knowing that there are people that have secrets, there are secrets out there, and there's stuff that there are things that are hidden, but you have to trust yourself to trust your judgment about other people. And I think you got here to the King of Cups, where you're very much in your feels. Okay, so this is looking a lot like you guys are not communicating, or there was a lot of stuff that you did communicate, and it was taken advantage of. I think maybe this whole year, someone in this year could have sabotaged you. It's just someone that's in your friends, someone that you trusted, and someone that you opened up to, and they took advantage of your openness. I think you guys were understanding, or there was some sort of dynamic that you had to understand within your relationships about whether or not to say so much or say too little, okay? I think there was a balance here that was needed to kind of figure out exactly what it was that you needed to say so much and kind of keep to yourself. And I think that's why you have the King of Cups here, because this could be someone that's coming into your life that's new, or this could be you, Kings and queens, they are not sex oriented. Okay, this is totally anybody, but I feel like I think you guys are a lot more in control of your emotions. Maybe it was kind of fluctuating big time this year as well, because I mean, there's a lot of cup energy, a lot of cup energy. So there could have been a lot of this up and down with your emotions, a lot of up and downs. You guys kind of had a roller coaster with your emotions, and I think you are able to control that now. But also, I think in regards to expressing how you feel and opening up, I think you were in a period where you were doubting whether you were making sense or not, or you were conveying to people exactly what you wanted. I think you were focusing on what you wanted so much that you weren't sure that what you had was, was enough. And I think you had what you wanted. I think why did you, why do you have an empty victory? Why is that there? Because of the Three of Cups. Because of friends, support. That isn't, it's kind of crazy. Like, it could be like the kind of support that you had was one that was kind of tough love. Maybe there was something that was kind of hard to understand. And you had to kind of go through a rough patch with friends. But now you're here, the King of Cups, someone that's kind of closed off, someone that doesn't open up very often, someone that controls their emotions, or you're with somebody that is very in love with you, or someone that is very much in love. Period. Someone that you believe probably cannot fulfill their promises, and ended up keeping them after all, because the King of Cups, he can fulfill any dream. Okay. He's strong enough too, and he watches his mouth as well. He don't say things that he just, because he can feel whatever he wants, but never express that. That's a problem. That's one of the things that's the problem with the King of Cups rather, is that they don't open up, they don't say anything. They can feel the world, but they just don't say anything. They can feel like, I want to take you out to, all of the world, right? They can feel that. That's what the thing with the difference between the Knight of Cups and the King of Cups. What they do with that feeling. Knight of Cups will just say it, offer it, and just be like, I love you that much that this is what I would do. And they make promises that they can't keep. The King of Cups, they feel that. But they know realistically, like, they don't know if they can actually do that. They don't know if they can actually, fulfill that fantasy. They can do other fantasies, but they're not stupid. They're not going to just go, okay, I'm going to take you across the world and be like the Knight of Cups and be like, nah, I'm never going to take you across the world. Because I can't. I want to. I feel like I really want to, but I can't. So the King of Cups could be someone that is, very, I think you kind of to the conclusion of something in regards to some relationship or support, expression, and someone that's focused on what they wanted. I think this person that you're interacting with or interacted in the past, you realize has a lot more embedded emotions than you realized. I think the reason why you were having such a struggle with the Five of Swords there was trying to intellectually understand someone's closed offness. Because you had a connection there. You have three people coming together, support. You're communicating that, and the Knight of Cups is like, oh, I want this, but the communication was a problem. King of Cups does not communicate what he feels. He just feels. So for some of you guys could be feeling. And I think that's what was hidden. I think you guys had to go through the nitty gritty, the smoke and mirrors, the knight in shining armor. Because there was probably a lack of communication there. So now, you guys have the Six of Wands. I think you guys recognize through the effort that you guys put in that the person that you're interacting with is someone that just does not communicate or does not open up. Someone that has a hard time expressing themselves emotionally, or just feels the world, like I said, and doesn't say anything. It's gonna be you guys. You guys could have managed to your emotions and your emotion to up and down, because you guys, looks like you guys had some situations with your emotions as well this year, and how dynamic they are and how extreme they can go. I think there's a balance of where, like, you had to express yourself and be very open. Like, it's like here there's some pain in the very beginning, but it was victorious to express that. And I think it was so deep. Like, obviously, like, the swords are in the heart. Like, they were so deep. And expressing that was, like, I think it was very emotional for you. And you didn't have to even talk to people about it. Like, I think you were just, it was like, that's how you express yourself at that time. And then you got to a place where you're okay, but you weren't sure if you were okay because there was someone that wasn't really being open. And now you truly know why they're not open. You truly know that they are just not open emotionally like that. And that's okay. You recognize it. And it's a victory. For you. One's there as well. That focuses a lot of money. Okay? I think ultimately, guys, the person that came into your life, the person that's in your life right now, or the person that was at the end of this whole, the whole lesson thing for the whole year. I honestly think that because this person was working so much and it was super generous, I think, but at the same time, they were very focused on the material aspects. I think it caused you to recognize something and a pattern about someone. And I think ultimately you love them for who they are. And I don't know if this person is someone that, I don't know. I think the dynamic of the relationship is about openness and what's more important. Because I think, like I said, you noticed something. The Six of Wands, it's a victory, but it's recognition through your efforts that makes it a victory. I think you recognize the effort that you put into the relationship coming up as the King of Pentacles, or you're noticing the hard work that this person, this hard work that this person does. Just noticing. That this person is a lot more material oriented, and that's what the victory is. That's why he's closed off. That's why he doesn't. That's why he or she doesn't communicate, because their work isn't really important right now. I think that's what it kind of comes down to. The beginning of December. I know that was really weird. Sorry about that, guys. But the beginning of December, you guys are entering this with the Ace of Swords again. So I think you guys have a new perspective, a new way of thinking, a new way of communicating, even, and what is important about the communication that can lead you to victory. Okay. So after all of this stuff, I think there's a lot about communication emotionally that was very important this year. Communicating emotionally, being open emotionally. Understanding your emotional, fluctuation as a Gemini, being two, twins, how both scales or both twins have their own ways of experiencing things, but also conveying that and not feeling like it's not worth expressing. So I think you've developed so much about like emotional communication boundaries and change that needed to happen, that you kind of got to the point where you guys can control your emotions, but you're also able to do something about your emotions as well. And the people that you're with, the commitments that you have, you're recognizing who they truly are by being open, being that emotionally open. I think you've noticed the importance of emotional communication, communicating openly with your, about how you feel. Okay, in the other half of December, you have the Nine of Swords. So there's a little stress here. I think there's a bit of sadness. I think obviously you finally have the victory that you're looking for, but then you guys get stressed again. Why are they stressed? You're stressed that things will go back to being boring and nothing really happening, but you don't have to be. This is kind of a future prediction. If you don't want to have this Nine of Swords here, you don't have to, because this is the beauty of free will. You can do whatever you want. You can do you can change the future. But that's what the beauty of future is. It's never concrete, because your ability of free will is what's going to change the outcome. Okay? So I think honestly, there is a fear that there's, stress that things are just gonna go back to being kind of the same old, nothing really spicy, nothing really exciting. And you're gonna have to, I think ultimately, like a commitment or somebody offering a cup of love, it's just like, I think you just emotionally plateau and just kind of even out. And I don't know if that, I get it's stressful. Like, it's nothing really kind of that keeps you motivated, because there's a lot of apathy with that card. And I think you'll feel stuck emotionally. Like you just feel like there's really no growth in where you are emotionally. Okay. But the thing here is the Nine of Swords is the big thing is even though we're stressed out, even though we're not in the right of like space, a headspace. It's not to say that the situation is that dire, or is like not dire at all. But it's nothing that we can't handle. Everything that's thrown at us is something we can handle. Therefore, there's nothing. Usually, when the Nine of Swords comes up, it's a situation that is actually nothing to really worry about. It's not nothing to worry about, but not to worry about so much. Okay. If you're worried about things plateauing, be the Empress. I think it's time to receive anyway. Time to to kind of be the person that receives stuff, because it looks like you guys were doing a lot of the talking and doing a lot of being the emotionally open person for the whole year. It's time to get that reciprocating stuff back. Okay, it's time to get that back. The yin energy for the next half of December, to change that, because if you don't want to be there, you don't want to feel that, then you don't have to. Try to create your own abundance, create your own happiness. It's time to manifest. And you don't want to manifest with apathy in your heart, because when you manifest with feeling like, oh, nothing's going to happen and everything's low key, just you're going to bring that in. You don't want to do that. Okay? Or even if you're sad, you don't want to bring that stuff in. Okay, so how this spills over into the new year, you guys have the Six of Cups. So this is coming. So I think a lot of this emotional openness is going to cause you guys to kind of enter the year thinking about the connection that you had, the connections that you made, and I think that the wonderful memories that you have from all those relationships. That's the key. I think that you want to get to a place where you can remember them fondly, and and not be hurt by them. Actually, for some of you guys could be meeting someone. Ooh, you guys could be meeting somebody. Okay, someone that is accepting, emotions, or something, not accepting any emotions, but kind of someone that you have a connection to, a soulmate. Maybe this is someone from the past that comes back. Be mindful of that, y'all. Someone from the past could be coming back, but you have to figure out exactly why they're coming back, because this whole thing is about why anyway. What else is it? What else is there? The past is up. The past is here. Now, in the second third of the year, you the first card was from January to May. Okay, so that was January to May. You guys are going to May from May to August. The Four of Swords. There's gonna a need to take a break or healing. Why? You know what you want. You're going after it. You're speeding through it. So there is going to be a challenge. The challenge here for the middle of the year as well is taking a break, knowing that there's time in everything. Everything's going to happen in its own due time. You don't have to rush it. So I think there is the reason why things are going to slow down in the middle of the year is because there's so much you're going after. There's so much truth that you have in your heart. You're ready to go get it, but maybe there needs to be a little bit of slowing down. And then at the end of the year, you have the World, so successful completion. That is amazing. That's wonderful. So everything's gonna play out in the way that's gonna work out for you. Okay, it's gonna wrap up wrap up a cycle at the end of the year, and that's a really good card to get at the end of the year. That means that you put your efforts in. Okay. But remember, the future is not set in stone. You can change any part of this situation that you want. The past is the only thing that we can't change. But we can learn from the past to help us change the future. Okay? Now, your Wisdom of the Oracle card is for this wonderful reading here. You guys have finances and careers. So financial issues are a factor in your love life now. Okay? think for some of you guys, the reasoning why there was probably so much difficulty communicating with people, there was a lot of butting heads when it came to communicating emotionally with the people that you care about, was because money was involved. Okay? Ultimately, the money was involved. And I don't think you saw that. I don't think you could see it. And I think diving in deep was very important this year, because learning, this whole process of showing you that there's something deeper, there's something deeper, keep talking, keep communicating, is because you didn't get it. You finally got the victory. You finally noticed that the whole situation was all about money, materials. And I think you recognize that the material portion of a relationship is, yes, it can be important, but it doesn't rule out everything else. So I think if you guys are currently still in a relationship, everything like that, money is a factor right now, because the focus is on money. I think if you can shift the focus away from money and focus on the emotional part, like I was talking about, the feelings inside, the part that has no currency, that's more valuable. Okay? Now, for your whispers of love, you guys have be in the past, dream of the future. And this says, when we dream, everything is possible. Okay? So, I think when you're in the moment, you're creating your future, obviously. So, that's why I was talking about. Be in the moment, be in the present. Because of the Ace of Swords right now, you're learning something new. You're beginning a cycle with new ideas and a perspective. Be in the moment right now, okay? You understand what you kind of went through this whole year. Talking, about emotional, communication, and being, open to emotions and understanding your emotions and trusting yourself to be able to convey those emotions in the way that you needed to. And for the people that you care about, or people that you have as your support network, understand you. With all that said, trust, be in the moment, and live life as much as you can. Communicate as best as you can, okay? Because you guys did a hell of a lot of work this year in regards to that, okay? I think your focus on maybe for some of you guys, maybe you guys had a focus, or maybe you guys wanted more out of a relationship with a friend, and it didn't kind of work out. Or you're trying to figure out whether it was worth being in a relationship with a friend. 5 of Swords, friendship, 3 of Cups, Page of Cups, offering of love, because you wanted it, or somebody offered you love. Maybe you guys were friends in a relationship, and it just kind of never really exceeded past that, because either you wanted more, or you weren't sure if you wanted more. Okay, but anyway, live in the moment. You learned a lot this year. What did you learn from this year? So be in the moment right now, guys. And then last but not least, you have Between Worlds. So that's another card that speaks about being in the moment. But also, actually not really. Between Worlds is talk about wrapping up old loose ends and tying things up for the next phase. Because you can't take on the baggage from the last stuff. So you have to tie things up. You have to wrap things up. You have to end something. Not end something, but kind of learn the lessons completely of the cycle that you're trying to end, so you can begin something new. Okay? Alright, Gemini. What a year, right? Let me know how you thought about this spread. And if you guys like it, leave me a thing in the description box. But if y'all like it, I will do it again at the end of next year. Okay, y'all? Don't forget to join us on Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time for our stream. I'd love to see y'all there. And I hope this reading kind of helped you guys see how much you've grown and see how much progress that you've made. And honestly, understand and give yourself a little bit of a break in regards to everything that you've been through. If you're just in case you guys are hard on yourselves, look at how much you've been through. Look at how much you've been through. Okay. And really kind of give yourself, give yourself a pat on the back for even getting through all that. Okay? Alright, y'all. Love you guys. I'm sorry for the video being so long. Bye, y'all.